What's going on, everybody? Blah, 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 blah. I can't speak tonight. What's going on, everybody? It is 6:53 p.m. Let me know if the music is too loud. This is the supporter Q&A for February 2019. I know this is very, very late, but if you follow me, you know why things have been so late. Just kind of getting back into the swing of things. So, yeah, next month's Q&A will definitely be within, like, the first week of the month. So, I appreciate everybody's patience, and I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight and supporting the channel. If you don't support the channel and you're watching the stream, thank you so much for tuning in. I do these supporter Q&As once every month, either people can support the channel through YouTube and they can interact with me during the chat, or they can support the channel on Patreon, where I read everybody's question that posts one in Patreon on this live stream, and I answer them. So yeah, normally I have it a little different, but I wanted to use the Lightspeed Lounge overlay for tonight. I'm gonna find a way to get the questions up on the Lightspeed Lounge overlay in the future, but yeah. So right now, I'll be reading the Patreon questions, but you won't see them, unfortunately. But just know that if you did ask a question on Patreon, it will be answered in this live stream. So yeah, next time I will have the questions on the overlay. Anyway, I see Mad Dog. What's up, Mad Dog? So, Greedo, how's life, my dude? Seems like you always miss my messages, but there is a lot of them. Yeah, I apologize, man. Like I say, like when I'm playing Battlefront or something like that, I'll glance over for a split second, and the first thing that I see in the chat is like the thing that I read between rounds. You know what I mean? Or between me dying and me being resurrected in the game. But yeah, what's up, Venom? Happy birthday! I saw it was your birthday, man. Happy birthday! Everybody in the chat say happy birthday, Venom. Psychotic, what's going on, man? The only thing keeping me awake right now is this live stream and pure adrenaline. Adrenaline. What do you got adrenaline pumping for? All right, guys, welcome to the stream, guys. So yeah, I'm gonna be answering some Patreon questions here. Another reason that I don't have the questions up, besides not having it ready with this overlay, is that a lot of these are condolences before the questions, and I don't want to really read a bunch of condolences on a live stream, bum everybody out. So I appreciate all the kind words. Just know that I truly do appreciate that. But I want to get to the fun stuff tonight. But welcome one and all. So the first question comes from Trojan of Narnia on Patreon. All right, he says, I have been watching Star Trek The Next Generation, and it's freaking awesome. I would love to see a Star Wars show with a similar premise to Star Trek, as in exploring the universe. Maybe set way back when hyperspace travel was first invented. My buddy just texted me. There we go. People would be able to travel to new parts of space that they couldn't reach before, and so they would have to communicate with planets and races they didn't even know existed. I would love a show like that, though I don't know if it would be super popular. No, I've actually said a very similar thing to that, Trojan. I've always said that I would love a Star Wars show or movie that's set way back in time where people first discover the Force, but I think an equally interesting concept would be kind of the birth of galactic communication among various species in the Star Wars galaxy, when this entire Federation, well, it's not the Federation, right, but the entire kind of communication began between species. Who started it? Who formed the Senate, even, you know what I mean? I think something like that would be really interesting. I'm not one to constantly need everything explained, or every little minor detail or piece of history to be canonized and further explained, but something like that, in terms of giving us something new and different when it comes to Star Wars entertainment, I think that would be really interesting. A show that's, or a movie based on more exploration rather than, I don't know, X-Wings and TIE Fighters. You know what I mean? But I think that would be a pretty good premise for a show. Exploring various planets. Yeah. Interacting with various species. I think it'd be pretty neat. I'm on board, Trojan. Would it sound too much like Star Trek? Yeah, probably, but I love Star Trek. And as you said, you're watching The Next Generation. That is my Star Trek. That's one of my favorite shows of all time. So I'm kind of a sucker for that kind of stuff to begin with. But yeah, man, I appreciate the question. And yeah, I dig it. I know you guys can't see the question, so I have 12 total here. So yeah. I apologize for not having that up. I should. I at first I thought it wouldn't be that big of a deal, and now that I'm looking at it, I kind of regret not figuring it out before this stream. But I will figure it out, rest assured. There we go. I don't get people that wake up at 5 a.m. and are up for the day. My day starts at noon normally, but I had to work. I'm one of those people, psychotic. Actually, my alarm's set for 5 a.m. tomorrow through the 22nd. Ending on the 22nd because the space station is flying overhead at like 6:30 in the morning, and I wanted to be ready for it. Take a long exposure picture. I love it. I love waking. It's my time. I love, like, if I wake up at 4 in the morning, it is very, very difficult for me to fall back to sleep. Normally, I end up just popping up, working on stuff, maybe playing a video game or two, and just sipping on some coffee, enjoying a little bit of early morning, no one's awake time to myself. The earlier the better. I love waking up early, man. But yeah. Yeah, Venom, I hope everything works out. I hope everything works out. I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. I'm sure it will. Don't thank me. Don't thank me. All I did was click a button, man. But yeah, it's got to be rough for you, especially well, as his son. That's got to be super rough. I can't, it's yeah, seeing your parents choked up like that or in situations like that is, yeah, it's rough. It's rough, but you'll be good, man. The next question comes from Fifi Gable. Please extend. Oh, one sec. Okay. All right. I really love the Mortis and Witches of Dathomir arcs in the Clone Wars. I like seeing the different manifestations of the Force in the weirdness of a galaxy far, far away. Do you think you might warm up to these arcs someday? Come on, HG, give it another look-see. Mortis, I didn't mind Mortis as much. I think I liked Mortis more than the arc I'm watching right now, so far at least. Just because it was really far out there. It was different, and it was just something completely unexpected, right? Going into it, I had no idea what the hell Mortis was. I had no idea what the father, the son, and the daughter, all of that entire story in that arc, never would have predicted it being like that. So it kind of threw me for a loop, and in turn, I liked it. The Witches of Dathomir, this entire arc, while I do enjoy aspects of it, it is, to me, it's a predictable thing. The Night Sister witches, okay, they got potions. They have voodoo dolls. They can shoot magic. It's like, I don't know. They have rituals. It's just, to me, I understand people love Star Wars for different things. If I would have grown up with it, that would be as much Star Wars as the Cantina is for me, right? But like me and my original trilogy fanboy piece of shit brain just cannot break that barrier. For whatever reason, I recognize that it is canon. I recognize that it is a part of Star Wars. I recognize that most people love it, and I recognize that I'm the weird one in all of this. But for whatever reason, my brain just can't break that bounds and completely 100% accept it as I don't know, something in the Star Wars universe is just so fucking weird and wonky, and witches and potions. I don't know. I completely get what you're saying, though. I respect it. I'm glad something like that exists in the canon, in the show, because, like you said, all the different forms of manifestations of the Force, all the, the far out there weird stuff that we see in the Star Wars universe, or, yeah, in the galaxy. The galaxy's big, right? There's a lot of different shit that's going to be going on. But, yeah, I'm sure in hindsight I'll start warming up to it a bit. you know, years to come. And I'm not done with the arc yet. I've liked a lot of the Night Sister Witch's arc, and I've disliked a pretty good amount as well. But I do appreciate it for being different.
Hey again. Who is your favorite character from Clone Wars so far? Mine is Anakin.
Equinox Warrior, thank you so much for the first super chat and channel support of this not Patreon, but well, yeah, I guess Patreon and Fleet member live stream. I greatly appreciate that, man. The Robot Reddit, and I'm gonna read it too. Well, first of all, if anybody's watching that isn't a supporter, I thank you so much for tuning in. I do these supporter Q&As once a month. They're for people that click the join button a little down below. If you scroll down, there's a button that says join, and you can support the channel on a monthly basis. And for people who support the channel on a little website called Patreon. So thank you for tuning in. Equinox Warrior says, hey, again, who is your favorite character from the Clone Wars so far? Mine is Anakin. One sec, there we go. I'm glad I brought a big thing of water, but I should have brought more. Maybe I'll end up drinking out of the cat bowl. Equinox, I think my favorite character in the Clone Wars so far is Ahsoka. Because when I think of a Clone Wars character, I'm trying to think of somebody who's not present in the films, right? I totally see why you like Anakin the best. He's slowly but surely he might become my favorite character, because I can see at the point I'm at right now where the switch is starting to turn, where he's starting to become a little unorthodox, I guess you could say. A little, I don't know, going against the grain. So I can see that point of view. Rex too, psychotic. Rex is... So yeah, I guess Rex and maybe Ahsoka are my two favorite. What I like about Ahsoka is when we first saw her, at least when I first saw her, I was a little hesitant, right? It was a little kiddie. She was a little, goofy, right? A little goofy. But her journey is interesting because, you know, when I first saw her, I said, yeah, she's going to be a goofy. This might be really, really kiddie, which is fine. But as kind of the maturity level of the show progressed, so did she. Her character started off as kind of a bright-eyed kid, not knowing what the hell to do, kind of directionless, and now she is a steadfast leader. She, makes decisions on the fly. She's a good strategist, a good leader. And I think that arc so far is why Ahsoka is really appeals to me in the Clone Wars. And Rex, kind of, I guess for similar but separate reasons, I never expected the Clone Wars, to be able to dissect individual clone troopers the way it has. Like going into the show, I didn't expect that, didn't know that's what it was going to do, but the way that individual clones have been humanized and there's a personality behind each mask, they've done a really good job. And Rex, Rex is just the peak of that, what I just explained, you know. I'm curious where all this is going to go. We kind of have a feeling where it's going to go because we kind of know the outcome, right, leading into Revenge of the Sith. But I have a feeling there's going to be... Don't spoil anything, you silly fucks. I have a feeling there's going to be a lot of betrayal, a lot of heartbreak, a lot of disagreements. And I'm pretty excited to see where it goes. But yeah. Equinox, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support tonight, man. I greatly appreciate that. The next question from Patreon comes from Patrick Ferrara. And let me take another sip of water here. Patrick asks, my question is, why do you draw the line at magic and hocus pocus in Star Wars? Star Wars already has the Force chokes, Jedi mind tricks, and sensing other emotions. Why then do you draw the line at magic? It's not that much further down the line than mystical rabbit hole. Cheers. No, I completely agree. I don't know why I have such an issue with... And it's not really an issue, right? I accept it as a part of Star Wars, as a part of canon. But as I just said with Fifi's question, it's something that is so far outside of my realm of what I've always known Star Wars to be, right? or what the Force to be, or what a lot of this stuff to be, that it's probably just going to take some time for it to sink in and be fully absorbed and accepted as a part of this whole, as you said, mystical rabbit hole. Because for me, and like I said, like I've always said, I grew up with the original trilogy, right? The Jedi, the Sith weren't even a thing when the movies were made. I don't know when they were first mentioned. That's an interesting question. When were Sith first mentioned ever in Star Wars? Any material? I mean, maybe it was in an interview in 1983. Who knows? But I'm very curious about that. So for me, Star Wars really has always been a little bit of hocus pocus and Force ghosts, a little bit of Force magic, and a hell of a lot of blasters and spaceships and smugglers. And running and gunning, you know what I mean? A little bit of sprinkle on top of the mysticism and the magic and the mystery. A little bit, just a little bit of glitter, right? Just you get too much glitter, it's just all over the place, and it's just too much. You get a little bit of glitter, it can add a nice shine to your holiday greeting card. But yeah, Patrick, I don't know either, man. I don't know why I have such an issue with it. It's just like a plate in my brain that's not fully letting it absorb into my head. But over time, just like most things, I'll grow to accept it fully. I've already accepted it as a part of Star Wars and canon. You know, you have to. But I think I'll. Maybe acceptance is the wrong word. Appreciation or liking it even, maybe through the lens of time, I'll like it a little bit more. I don't know if that makes any sense, Patrick. It's very hard for me to to put the words that I'm thinking in my brain through my voice and into the microphone when it comes to answering questions like that, because it's like a barrier in my thought process. You know what I mean? When that question is, why do I draw the line? And it's not really a line per se. It's just, I don't know, Patrick. But I appreciate the question. I'm sure a lot of people have an issue with me calling. That is funny, man. Whenever I called the Night Sisters Hocus Pocus, people like jumped all over me, and I was like, what? It is kind of hocus pocusy, right? Yeah? No? Alright. My favorite Clone Wars is character 99, actually cried. Yeah, that was, yeah. I liked that premise of that character. Is it bad that I mainly watch your channel for the streams? No, man, not at all. People watch the channel for the parody. People watch the channel for the morning coffee videos. People watch the channel for Star Wars science, which I don't do very often. And people watch the channel for streams. I bet the audience, Mad Dog, for videos opposed to streams are very, very different. I bet they're almost a completely different viewer. I'd be willing to bet that, you know? I'd be willing to bet. I watch it for the Shitsucker 9000. I need to have periodic fake advertisements throughout my live streams, don't I? That would be funny. That's actually not a bad idea. All right. The next question from Patreon comes from Paul Robinson. Question time for February. What isn't the most romantic thing you've ever done? Thinking of you, Paul. What isn't? Or it? So Paul says, what isn't? Oh, that was an autocorrect, it looks like. Because he says, what isn't he most romantic? So it should be, what is the most romantic thing you've ever done? Shit, man, I don't know. I used to be way more romantic. I guess every long-term relationship is like that, right? Shit, me and my wife's 5th year anniversary, wedding anniversary is coming up, and we'll have been together for 11 years. That's hard to believe. Golly, man. I don't know. I've always been one to like write little notes and stuff like that, put them around the house. You know, there's not really some big giant one thing that I've done before. I think it's just a small amount of stuff. Like if I go out of town or she goes out of town, or you know, we have friend days or whatnot, I'll write a note and put it under the pillow, or write, you know, notes and tack them up on the mirror and stuff like that. I don't know. I'm trying to think. I'm sure if you ask my wife, she could tell you something. I have a bad memory as it is. I don't know. I'll get back to you on that, Paul. I'm trying to think of like, I mean, I proposed to her in Washington D.C. on a really fun road trip that we did. I was just, you know, she never wanted it to be like a big public thing, so just did it in D.C. right in the hotel room, and then we walked around D.C. as fiancés. It was fun. But I don't know. Write songs? I don't know. I'll get back to you, Paul. How about that? I apologize. My brain's mush right now. I got a shit memory. If the title is that, you are all witnesses saying I predicted it. For some reason, I feel like it's going to be Into the Darkness. Isn't that Star Trek Into Darkness? That's a Star Trek movie. Into Darkness. I don't think it's going to be like that. I don't think it's going to be that. What if it was, though? What if it was? I doubt it. I doubt it. Alright. Let's see. Alright, the next question from Patreon comes from John Patrick. Oh, never mind. He doesn't have a question. He's just condolences. But I appreciate that, John. I appreciate everybody. I know I'm not reading anybody's kind words here in relation to what happened a couple weeks ago. But know that I do appreciate the kind words. I'm skipping them to get to your questions. I have read them. I'm skipping them to get to your questions, though. Devin Godfrey is the next question from Patreon. Hey, Greedo. Just letting you know, your video How Luke Should Have Been in The Last Jedi had me in tears of laughter. I feel like it had been weeks since I laughed that hard at any YouTube content. I wonder what non-Star Wars movie you are most looking forward to seeing in 2019. Devin. Well, thank you so much, man. I appreciate that. That video was a lot of fun to make. A lot of fun to make. It was very silly. While I was making it, I was legitimately cracking myself up. Like, what more over-the-top bullshit can I add to this? Let's have Luke Skywalker have 16 lightsabers. Is that how many he had? 16? Something like that. I think he had 16. But I definitely want to make more videos like that. Just all Photoshop dumb shit like that. It'd be fun. But what movies am I looking forward to seeing in 2019? Oh my god, Devin. I gotta look them up. Coming soon, movies, 2019. Is that how I should have Googled that? Probably not. Because I have been so out of the loop. So out of the loop lately. I'm gonna go down a little list. The Upside. Oh, is that already out? Glass, Serenity. What? Oh, never mind. These are already out. These are already out. Oh no, some of them aren't. Us. Lupita Nyong'o. Oh, is that? That looks interesting. The Jordan Peele, I guess, thriller horror movie. I don't really know what it is. I saw a trailer for it a couple weeks ago. That looks really interesting. I'd like to see that eventually. Dumbo. It's kind of a scary picture. Shazam. Shazam looks fun. Shazam looks like it could be really, really awesome or super cringy. I really hope it's good. I really hope it's awesome. Pet Cemetery. I don't. I like the original. Hellboy, not much of an interest. The Curse of La Llorona? Not too sure. Under the Silver Lake, don't know. Avengers Endgame. Yeah, I'll eventually see that, I'm sure. Ugly Dolls, Long Shot, Pokemon, The Rosie Project, John Wick, Aladdin, Rocket Man. They're making. Is this the same Rocket Man that I'm thinking of? Oh no. Okay. Oh, it's an Elton John movie, or is it a biography, like a documentary? Oh, it's a movie. Interesting. Who's playing Elton John? It does not say. Starring Targan Egerton? Interesting. Huh. What's up, Brad? Good to see you, man. Dark Phoenix, Men in Black International. I am kind of curious about the Men in Black reboot. You know, every Men in Black has always been a disappointment, except for the first one. I didn't mind the second one as much. I know it's pretty shitty in hindsight, but I didn't mind it. Toy Story 4, definitely will see that. Lion King. The Hobbs and Shaw. I don't know. Artemis Fowl. Really? Huh. So, they're making a Downton Abbey movie? I wonder if my wife knows that. Jokers. Oh yeah, the new Zombieland, the sequel. I'll definitely want to see that. Jumanji 2, I wanted to see the first one. So yeah. Devin, I don't really know. There's not really many that are jumping out to me. You know, Men in Black International, I'll definitely want to see it. Other than that, like the Zombieland, obviously Star Wars, but even like Avengers, I don't really have that much of a burning desire to see it. I haven't seen the last like 1,000. I think there's the last 1,000 Marvel movies.
I don't know. Fly casual.
Love your videos.
All right.
Keep up the good work.
The Muddler, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I greatly appreciate that, man. The Robot Reddit, and I'm going to read it as well. Love your videos. Keep up the good work. Well, thank you so much for the support in the channel, man. That really means a lot. Yeah, thank you so much. I make stupid little silly YouTube videos. I talk about things that I love, talk about things that I dislike. And I'm glad you dig some of the silliness of it. So thank you so much, Muddler. I mean that. I appreciate that support tonight as well. What's up, Raptark? Good to see you, man. So yeah, Devin. Don't really know what movies I'm looking forward to. And truthfully, I probably won't see a movie until Star Wars. About a year from now. I haven't seen a movie in the theater since Solo. Yeah. We haven't done much movie going since the baby was born. It's been a very long time. What's up, Jason? Hey, dude, didn't have a question in time for the Q&A this month, despite backing you. Just gonna pass on my well wishes and everything to your family, and cheers for your content and everything. I appreciate that, man. And I'm glad to hear that things are kicking ass and looking up for you. Yeah, appreciate the kind words. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. I want to make sure I didn't miss anybody. All right, cool. The next question from Patreon comes from Grant Descartes. I know I always butcher your name, man. I apologize. My question is pretty interesting. I moved to Japan to study, and it was my preferred location to live. However, no one here really likes Star Wars at all. There's no real presence. Most of my friends never seen the originals, and the movies, when they come out, don't tend to be the new blockbuster. So my question is, how would you sell the Star Wars brand to an audience who's mostly unaware of it? This could include marketing, or just how you'd explain it to a Japanese person. Interesting question. I don't really know. I know there's, with a lot of movies, TV shows, anything, any art form, there's obviously cultural barriers, right? And sometimes those cultural barriers are broken. I didn't realize Star Wars wasn't that big in Japan. That's interesting to me. I know Star Wars is probably one of the more prolific franchises and brands in the world. So I don't. How would you market something? I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know if you really do. I don't. You just kind of. I really don't know, man. I'm trying to think. I don't know if you gear. Well, this is why I'm not in the business of PR and marketing. Because obviously, companies and businesses gear the same products to different cultures and different locations and different groups of people in different ways, right? I'm sure the trailers, the international trailers for Star Wars are different than the regular main trailers, or the main trailers, the United States releases, like the Western world releases, right? It's really interesting to me. So obviously there's different demographics or different I don't know what the correct word I'm thinking of is, different ways to gear pieces of art or products or anything like that to different people of the world. Does that make sense? I don't know though. I don't know how you would gear Star Wars towards. Yeah, I almost would say you don't. You just let the movies speak for themselves. And I don't know if like certain things get lost in translation, you know? I really don't know. That's really interesting for me to hear though, Grant. I'm curious where else it's kind of... Well, I guess like Avatar is enormous in Japan. I could be wrong about that, but I think my buddy, he was stationed in Japan. He was telling me that Avatar is huge over there. But I don't know anybody that's like a super Avatar fan. I don't know anybody that's really that into Avatar or even excited for the next installment of the series or whatever it is. So I guess that would be an interesting study. Why different cultures prefer different forms of entertainment or different types of movies. Whether it be, I don't know. That'd be an interesting. That'd be a really interesting study. I'm sure somebody's already done it. I'd like to look into that. The gamut, the differences of human beings is beautiful, and I find it fascinating what makes different cultures tick, why they prefer certain things over other things. It's kind of learning about the differences of people in this human soup is just really interesting to me, you know? I don't know. You might have made me just go down a rabbit hole, Grant. I'm going to write this down, and I'm going to do a little bit of research. Let's see. Star Wars, other cultures. Nice. Anti-vaxxer parents? I don't know, man. Don't bring them around my fucking kid. We live in the future. We live in 2019. We live in Star Trek days. Utilize the life-saving inventions that we've created. We've harnessed the power of nature and used it for ourselves to protect all life on planet Earth. Don't be the one that fucks it up. Please don't be the one that fucks it up. The next question comes from... Oh, you did get a question in here, Psychotic. Oh, one sec.
What's your favorite lightsaber design?
Ooh.
Are you looking forward to Godzilla, King of the Monsters?
Equinox Warrior, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I greatly appreciate that, man. What's your favorite lightsaber design? Are you looking forward to Godzilla, King of Monsters? Well, first of all, let me take another sip of water here. All right. My favorite lightsaber design is Luke Skywalker's Return of the Jedi Green. It is my all-time favorite lightsaber design. I just love the green blade, even just the look of it when it's glowing, when it's ignited. I dig it. For whatever reason, it is my favorite lightsaber design. It's purely on a look thing too, and I like the concept of him constructing his own, and there's a lot of mystery behind that. You know, in the 3-year gap between Empire and Return of the Jedi, he built a new lightsaber. Didn't see it on screen. It happened. I dig it. So yeah, that's my favorite. If I was ever to get a replica lightsaber or like a model, a prop, to hang on my wall or something like that in my office as like a light, I don't know. It would be Luke Skywalker's Return of the Jedi green, 100%. And the second part of your question is, are you looking forward to Godzilla King of Monsters? Not particularly. You know, let me look it up. Have I seen it? Is there a trailer out? I feel like I've seen. Oh wait, 9 hours ago, TV spot. Wait, did the trailer literally release today? 10 hours ago? 3 hours ago? Oh no, there's a trailer. Okay, there's a trailer from December. Godzilla, who's in this? Kyle Chandler. Oh, where do I know Vera Farr? I don't know how to pronounce that. Where do I know her from? Bates Motel, never seen that. The Departed, okay. Manchurian Candidate, interesting. Sorry guys, I'm looking at this actress. I don't know what I recognize her from. Oh, and her daughter? That's her daughter? Oh no, that's her sister. From Veep, who plays the president's daughter. Huh. Alright, enough of this rabbit hole. Equinox. I can't say that I'm super excited for it. I can't say that I'm gonna see it. I'm definitely not gonna see it in the theater. But I'm sure, you know, maybe eventually I'll end up seeing it. Oh. Titans? Mothra's in it? So is it just gonna be like a giant ass like monster movie where all of Godzilla's foes come into play? Interesting. But Equinox, I can't say that I'm super excited for it. I can't say that I'm gonna see it in the next 5-10 years. I'm sure one day when it's on TV I'll check it out. In 15 years when it's on Spike TV or whatever the hell Spike is going to be called in 15 years. Does Spike even exist anymore? I don't know. But yeah, Equinox, I appreciate that channel support, man. Tonight, I truly do. And yeah, I wish I could say that I was super excited for it, but I haven't been paying much attention to any movies recently. It's just what happens when you have a kid. You end up watching Office reruns and being in bed by 9:30. And the next question comes from Psychotic. Hey Greedo, sorry to hear. My question for this month is, what pushes you on? When you are having a lazy day and you know that you got to get something done and your body just says no, what do you do? Thank you always, Greedo. Interesting question. I don't know, man. I think I get it from my dad. He's about to turn 69 in a couple months, and that guy does not stop fucking moving. He does not stop moving. Like, I don't know how to describe it. He goes to the gym sometimes twice a day. He is one of the, like, I guess, like the fastest, hardest workers I've ever seen. Like, even like helping us move, or I don't know, even just doing yard work, he just gets shit done fast. It's like makes me and my sister nervous sometimes, because, you know, he's getting up there and he just won't stop. He won't take a breath. He won't take a break. He just wants to get shit done. It's kind of funny. But I think I get it from my dad a little bit. I have a hard time I'm a little restless, and I have a hard time just sitting down and just not doing anything, you know? I have a really hard time just I have a hard time being lazy, if you can think of it that way. I have to always be working on something or doing something, or if I'm done with all the videos that I want to do, if I'm done streaming for the day, I want to do the laundry or do the dishes. You know what I mean? I want to be doing something. I don't know. So I really don't know. I think it's just kind of a. Well, if your body's telling you no, tell that shit to shut up, and keep pushing. I mean, I think it's just kind of a mindset that you need to switch on. You know, whenever you get a little bit lazy or not in the mood to do something that you need to do, you need to tell yourself. You know, you need to look externally at yourself as if you were a different person looking at you and say, "Get this fucking shit done." It's easier said than done, right? But I don't know. If I knew the formula, I would utilize it.
If you were going to give the Star Wars license to a game developer, who would you give it to? I would pick Platinum Games.
The Muddler, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. Give me one sec. I'm gonna try to finish this thought real quick. But that being said, Psychotic, I'm restless. I need to always be doing something, but I'm often unfocused. I often don't know what path to go down, right? So like if I want to, I don't know, market myself for some freelance projects and stuff like that, I have a hard time getting myself to do that. I don't know why. Like making the leaps to make a big life-changing decision, does that make sense? Or a big decision that would involve others. I don't know how to describe it. But yeah, I don't know. You just gotta tell yourself, push, get your shit done. You're almost done with school, man. It's awesome. Oh, water is so good. I have about 3 32-ounce Nalgene bottles a day. And I am a piss monster. Hashtag piss monster. The Muddler, thank you so much for the super chat and channel support. I greatly appreciate that, man. If you were going to give the Star Wars license to a game developer, who would you give it to? I would pick Platinum Games. Platinum Games. Let me look them up. Platinum Games. Uh-oh. It looks like we have a new fleet member. Christopher, thank you so much for becoming the latest fleet member, man. I greatly appreciate that. Welcome to the live stream. It's great that you did this right now because this is the supporter Q&A. And you're in the middle of it. So I do these once a month, Christopher. You might already know this. I don't know. I apologize if I'm repeating myself, but I do these once a month. I'd like to start doing them more often, and I might start doing them more often now that I am I'm starting to stream during the day while my daughter is taking a nap. So I might start doing these a couple times a month. We'll see. And I might oh yeah, duh, Moth Meta. All right. Yeah, I need to shut the fuck up. What's up, Moth? Good to see you, man. But yeah, I might start doing these twice a month, or maybe more times a month, and even do them like not a Q&A, but more of just a supporter live stream at like 1 p.m. It'd be fun to do a 30 minutes to an hour of Battlefront just with supporters in the chat, keeping it super low key. Be fun. But welcome to the fleet once again, Moth. I appreciate that, man. And the Muddler, Platinum Games. You know what? I didn't even know that those guys made all these games. Metal Gear Rising Revenge, Mad World, Infinite Space, Bayonetta. They've only been around since 2009. Let's see. Astral Chain, Babylon's Fall. Oh, Star Fox Zero. I don't know if I've ever played any of these games, honestly, man. You know, I've played a Metal Gear, but I've never played that Metal Gear. I've played Star Fox, but I haven't played that Star Fox. Star Fox Zero and Star Fox Guard. What are those two? They're different games? What? Star Fox Guard is a 3D tower defense game in which players protect. Code of the game was bundled as a separate disc for the first print. Interesting, huh? I could see a fun Star Wars game being made by those guys. They seem to make a little cartoony-ish, over the top. Bayonetta. I've never played Bayonetta. Honestly, man, if I was to pick a developer other than EA, that's tough. You know, I would probably be tempted to say Bethesda, because I have been like so thirsty for a deep, story-driven, open-world, free roam RPG set in the Star Wars universe for so long that I think they would do a really good job. That being said, playing Red Dead Redemption right now, I want Rockstar to make it as well. So anybody that's willing to make a free roam RPG, do whatever you want kind of game, has my approval in terms of having the Star Wars license. Not too familiar with Platinum Games, because I haven't played, for looking at this list, I don't think I've played any of their games. But I'm gonna say, oh man, I'm gonna say Rockstar. And I think that is probably a very, what's the word? Mainstream kind of thing to say, a cliched thing to say, right? They make some of the biggest games in the world. I would love to say I would pick an independent developer, which would be awesome too. I would love some indie developers to get in there and make some RTS, make some really interesting, different kind of shit. But I just want a super, super polished, open world Star Wars RPG. And as of right now, the most recent games that I've played, hell, in the past decade, Red Dead Redemption 2 is incredible. Fallout 76 is a buggy mess. I loved playing it for the 40-something hours that I put into it, but god damn it, I want polished out of the gate. Give me Rockstar Red Dead Redemption 2 Star Wars open world game, and I'm there. Yeah. But I appreciate it, mother. Thank you so much for the support tonight, man. I really appreciate that. Let's see. All right, the next question comes from... Oh, I got 4 more questions, by the way, on Patreon. Let's see here. All right. Got Will Thompson, Ryan Hart, the movie critic dude, and Jai Wilkins. Will Thompson asks, do you plan on ever making the second part of the Phantom Menace horror story? If I'm wrong and it didn't say to be continued, would you ever make another horror story? One of my favorite Greedo videos, also the Jar Jar shootout. Thanks, Will. Yeah, you know, I think earlier in the channel's existence, Will, I did a lot of those kind of like part 1, or to be continued kind of things at the end. And I did have all the intentions in the world to make a be continued, or a part 2 of that Phantom Menace, a horror story video. Sorry guys, I burped. That's gross. But I don't know. Maybe one day. I don't know if I would do it the same way. I had a lot of fun making that video, because that was the most involved video I think I've ever done, because I involved a lot of people. I had a lot of friends help me with that. Friends with drones, friends with fireplace in their apartment. Oh, one sec. Dementium, thank you so much for becoming the latest fleet member, man. I greatly appreciate that. And welcome to the supporter Q&A. Got about 4 questions here left in this Q&A. Why is that gone? There we go. Oh, I must have minimized the base. Anyway, but welcome, Dementium. I appreciate that, man. If you don't know, I do these once a month. I think you already know, though. Also, as a fleet member, you can connect your Discord account with your YouTube account and get a special role in the Discord server, in the Hello Greedo Discord server. But thank you so much for becoming the latest fleet member. If everybody in the chat could do me a big favor, could you say, welcome to the fleet, Dementium? I appreciate that, man. Okay, alright. I figured Dementium. Nice. Thanks again, man. But Will was asking about this video. Yeah, that was one of my favorite videos to make because it involved a lot of people. Some really fun shots in that video as well. And I had a lot of fun putting that together. You know what? Let's see. Phantom Menace horror story. I'll post let's see. I'll post it in the chat here. There we go. You know, I mean, save that for later, I guess. It is a really fun video to make, and it's really, really stupid. I mean, like, really, really stupid. But it was fun to make. So, yeah, Will. Yeah, I'm sure I won't say that I'm not going to make another video like that, just because it was a lot of fun to make, but I don't know if it'll be a direct sequel to that, you know? And the Jar Jar shootout that you mentioned was so much fun to make. I think something like that. I just need an idea, right? I loved filming that kind of split screen, I play both characters opening sequence to that video. That I really, really want to do it again. I just need an idea, right? I think it would be a lot of fun. Yeah, I'll have to think of an idea. Though. But Will, I appreciate that, man. I hope I answered your question. And I appreciate you, bringing up that video. I always forget about some of my older stuff. And I'm like, man, that was kind of fun. Anyway. That was a long time ago. Like it's still on that video. Nice. You try to escape the toxicness of the fandom, but it keeps finding you. Dude, one of your really old videos popped up on my You Should Watch. It was from like 6 years ago, I believe, talking about Shadows of the Empire. Oh, wow. Yeah, my first Shadows of the Empire video, I vaguely remember that. Let me see. Hello, Greedo. Shadows of the Empire. Yeah, December 3rd, 2012. 2012. That's crazy. A little over 6 years ago. Wow. Look at that. What's hilarious about this, Moth? I'm watching the video right now. Is that... Well, A, you can kind of see... Oh, never mind. I was going to say you could kind of see my eyes through the lens, but you can't in this one. I think I had something over them. But you can also see that I lived on a second floor apartment. And the camera is like bouncing. Because I'm bouncing. Huh. I don't even know what I say. Those first few videos are rough. I barely even had any gameplay footage there. I mean, like, literally, I had no gameplay footage other than for 3 seconds. Weird. Alright. Old school sound for sure. Alright, let's see. The next question comes from Ryan Harp. Let me take another sip of water. I'm almost done with the water. All right. Ryan Harp. I actually have a Star Wars related question this month. At this year's Epcot International Festival of the Arts, I bought a piece of Star Wars art printed on canvas that I will show you on Twitter sometime after the Q&A. Oh, nice. So my question is this: if you could own a piece of Star Wars art, or if you could create your own, what would it be of, and why? Thanks for being awesome, and may the Force be with you. Yeah, this is actually a really good question, man. Ryan, I appreciate it, because for the longest time, I've been trying to figure out what I want to put above my computer, in terms of, like a canvas or a print or something, like a lighted logo or something like that, right? And I keep coming back to wanting a long panoramic horizontal canvas that's like 4 feet long by 4 feet long, 1 foot tall, something like that, and I would love it to be kind of a painting of Luke Skywalker staring out at the twin suns on Tatooine, outside of the farm. That scene painted. And I think it would be really neat, and I don't know how to do this, but I think it would be really neat to somehow have the suns be a little lit. I don't know if you could make the canvas thinner at a certain point, you know what I mean? So more light shines through if I put a bulb back there. I don't exactly know how that would work, but that is kind of the idea that I've had for a while. A canvas print that has a little bit of light to it, that would light up from the backside with the twin suns and illuminate a little bit of the canvas, I think something like that would be awesome. I think it would be exactly kind of what I've been wanting for my office. I don't know how to go about doing that. I would be 100% up for painting it myself. I could do that, but I'm really curious how the light aspect would work, But that's really cool, Ryan. I've never been down for the Festival of the Arts. I've been down there for the Food and Wine Festival, which is always fun. That's always an absolute blast, walking around there, just having beers from every country. That's what I actually did on my 21st birthday, which it's hard to believe that was almost 11 years ago. Yeah, almost 11 years ago. That's crazy. I went for my 21st birthday 11 years ago. I went to the Food and Wine Festival at Epcot, drank beers from all the countries. My aunt actually flew down from Ohio and surprised me. She gave me a call, which is, if you guys don't know my aunt, but she is just the best person on the planet, the most thoughtful, funny person to have a beer with. She loves her beer. She's awesome. Her and her husband are great. And she gave me a call wishing me a happy birthday as I was walking up to the Epcot gate. And I was like, thank you. And she was like, yeah, I wish I could be there. And then I turned the corner and she was there. And then we just spent the entire day drinking a shitload of beer. It was so much fun. But I need to make it down there for another one at some point. It'd be fun to go when my daughter's older, But yeah, Dementium, the screensaver is sick. Thank you, man. This is one of my favorite things that I've ever made for the channel. Just call it the Lightspeed Lounge. That is me and my Subaru driving to the Andromeda Galaxy, listening to some music, tapping my thumb. And yeah, Ryan, definitely shoot a picture of that piece that you bought. I'd love to check it out for sure. All right. The next question comes from the movie critic dude. How has your view and thoughts towards Count Dooku as a character now that you've seen him so far in the Clone Wars? How he's portrayed in the prequel films being more menacing and serious. Also, what do you think of Corey Burton's performance as Count Dooku? As even Christopher Lee said, he was one amazing sound-alike in many video game tie-ins and other animated shows. P.S. The Clone Wars you mentioned in your last Clone Wars video that you spoke to Obi-Wan and his gang on the 2 dead Jedis were Delta Squad. Oh, okay. From the Star Wars Republic Commando game. Oh, nice. Okay. Okay. That was oh, so that's an interesting tie-in. So I didn't realize that was something from Republic Commando. I wouldn't have known that unless I guess played Republic Commando extensively. That's interesting. That's kind of a neat little tie-in there. But movie critic dude, Dooku. Just like all Clone Wars characters or prequel characters that appear in the Clone Wars, they get fleshed out. They get a little more detailed. You get to spend a little more time with them, get to learn their motivations and whatnot. And I have found Count Dooku to be a pretty damn good adversary. Well, how do I put this? You kind of see him in the Clone Wars. Well, obviously, you see him a lot more in the Clone Wars, but you see him pulling strings. You see him dictating. You see him taking orders, but also giving orders. You see him being basically not the leader, but kind of the strong arm of the Separatists. Anyway, I really like how much he's fleshed out, and I like his character in the Clone Wars. Now, the prequels, I couldn't get into him. Didn't really know that much about him. It was just, to me, in the prequels, he was kind of a throwaway. But in the Clone Wars, he, just like Grievous, right? We get to spend more time with him, so I like him a lot more. I've really learned to like Grievous quite a bit from the Clone Wars. He is kind of the muscle, right? He's kind of the muscle. He'll do whatever you say. He'll just destroy entire civilizations. He's got a chip on his shoulder, and he's the muscle. But yeah, movie critic dude. Just, I guess what I said about Dooku is it's kind of the same for all Clone Wars characters, right? Some I wish we got to see a little bit more and spend more time with. Some I could just do completely without. Some arcs, do a really good job fleshing out characters, like the Krell arc. I love the Krell arc, the Umbara arc. I don't know why I'm talking about that now. Anyway, movie critic dude, I appreciate the question. I hope I answered it. Corey Burton as Dooku, yeah, I mean, he sounds just like Christopher Lee. He does, and I guess I never really thought about that. I just instantly accepted him as Count Dooku, the voice. Anakin is and they all sound good, but some of them don't sound 100%, like who they're portraying in real life, which is fine. This is a TV show. There can be a little bit of creative licensing going on. Obviously, they don't have the original actors in there, so it's fine. But yeah, movie critic dude, I like it. I like him. Last sip of water and last question. There we go. Clone Wars is really good. I hope you give Rebels a chance, though. It gets better with time. Yeah, I watched the first season of Rebels. I enjoyed it. I think after the Clone Wars Dementium, I'm going to watch Rebels. Meaning, after I'm done with what I still need to finish watching. I still have maybe, I don't know how many episodes I have left. 30? Maybe? I don't know. But once I'm done with what I need to watch, what's currently already released, I'm going to watch the new Clone Wars stuff that's going to come out. And once I'm done with that, I'm probably going to jump into Rebels and watch Rebels. But we'll see. We'll see. But yeah. All right. The last question from Patreon comes from Jai Wilkins. Just curious if you would ever consider playing some other Star Wars games other than Battlefront every once in a while. If you did something like KOTOR, I'd love to see a video or two on it and your opinions in your usual style. Jai is one of the bigger advocates, or I guess advocate. Is advocate's the wrong word? He wants me to play KOTOR, and I want to play KOTOR. Is advocates the right word? Proponents? No. Anyway, Yes, Jai. I want to start playing a little bit of different Star Wars games. The problem with a lot of the older Star Wars games is that they do not cooperate with my streaming service. Or, software, rather. Oh, one sec. John H., thank you so much for becoming the latest fleet member, man. I greatly appreciate that. If everybody in the chat right now could do me a big favor and say, welcome, John H. Thank you so much, man. I greatly appreciate that. If you didn't know, maybe you're new to the channel, or maybe you're new to, maybe you're just not familiar with the fleet membership. I do this once a month. I'm going to try to start doing a little bit more during the day, even maybe a couple times a month. We'll see. But yeah, it's just a simple way for you to support the channel on a monthly basis, and just know that I appreciate the shit out of it. You also get a Discord role in the Hello Greedo Discord server. If you connect your Discord account with your YouTube account, that should automatically give it to you. And if you go into the live stream description right now, you can actually become, or you can click on the Discord link, and it'll take you right there, and you can hook that up. But dude, I appreciate that so much. Thank you so much once again, man. No problems. I've been lurking in the background for years. Time to show some support. Nice, John. That's cool to hear, man. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, man. How many years? I'm curious. I'm always curious to hear, like, when people first heard about the channel, what was people's first video that they ever saw, you know, what year they started watching. It's always interesting. Some people have been around since like 2011. Some people just found out during the Force Awakens. Just the whole spectrum. I love it. But I appreciate that, John. And Jai, yes, I haven't tried to figure out KOTOR in a couple days. But I've done basically everything that I can think to do. I've looked up troubleshooting things. I've downloaded patches and mods. I've gotten to where the game runs great. The game runs perfect. It actually runs in 1920 by 1080. It runs super smooth and looks, well, as good as it can be. But for whatever reason, my streaming software, as soon as I launch it, the game either crashes, which is a lot rarer, but my streaming software just does not recognize the game. I don't know how to describe it unless you've streamed, but if you've streamed, you know what I'm talking about. Like when you select either a display or a window or a game that's currently on your screen to stream specifically, it does not recognize it. And if it does recognize it, in the case of selecting window rather than game, it's black. There's nothing. I can be playing the game, and where it shows that it is actually streaming Knights of the Old Republic, it's not. It's just showing blackness. It's weird. Yeah, it's weird, man. I don't know. But, yeah, Jai, I do on occasion play other Star Wars games. Shadows of the Empire is probably one of the most... probably the most... non-Battlefront game that I've played on the channel. Other than that, I've played Dark Forces, the first Dark Forces, quite a bit on the channel as well. Star Wars Galaxies I'll occasionally fire up. The Old Republic I was playing for a little while. And if I can get Knights of the Old Republic to work, you can bet your ass I'm gonna play it. I just need it to work, man. I don't get why it's not. It's getting really frustrating, but yeah. But I appreciate that, Jai. I know you've been wanting me to play it for a while, and I apologize for not. I know everybody's wanting me to play it. And when I do, I plan on playing it from start to finish, and breaking it up into multiple live streams, and finishing it in 40 hours and 40 live streams. We'll see. No, I'll refresh it, Moth. Let's see. 6 to 7-ish. Wow, nice. 6 to 7 since the special edition changes videos, I think. Nice, man. That's awesome. That's awesome. It's been a long time. It's just crazy for me to think that the oh shit, that's the wrong Q&A. Okay, there we go. I see your question, Chris. One sec. Yeah, it's hard to believe that the channel's been around for that long. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense to me. 2011 was the year that I got out of the Navy. 2011 was the year that I got out of the Navy. That's just crazy to me. And it's 2019. I started the channel in 2011 and it's 2019. That doesn't make any sense to me. Crazy. Crazy. I'm 32 as well, John. Nuts. Where does the time go? Doesn't make sense, man. Alright, the last Patreon question comes from Christopher Mothmeta. Hey Greedo, recently I've been reading John Truby's The Anatomy of Story. The book covers concepts and archetypes from philosophy, mythology, and more to both analyze and create stories. There's a chapter that deals with endings that made me wonder this. At what point should a story end? This paired with my students' enthusiastic review of the latest Dragon Ball Z, or rather Super, movie calls me to reflect on stories that tell their tale and move on. Where there are other stories that continue long after they probably should have ended, I'll agree there. Dragon Ball might be a candidate there. So here's my question to you. In your opinion, what stories in any medium have perfect endings? Why are you satisfied with the endpoint of that story? Also, what stories do you feel have overstayed their welcome and should have ended years ago? Keep up the great work. That's an interesting question. I think, well, for me, instead of movies, I think TV shows is the first thing to come to mind when in that kind of like overstaying their welcome phrase. You know, a lot of TV shows I feel like run themselves into the ground. You got Lost, you got Dexter. There's a lot of shows that I feel like should have been a couple seasons, and then boom, you end it. You end on a high note. You had a fun flash in the pan. Get out of there while it's still fun and good. Don't overstay your welcome. You had like 4 solid seasons. Don't make it 8 seasons with the back end being shit. So Dexter is one example. I used to love that show, man. Me and my wife would watch it while I was on deployment. We would watch the same episodes, like this week, let's watch this episode. And then when I had a chance to email her, I would tell her that I watched it and we would discuss it a little bit. But then the show got shit. It got so bad. So that's a pretty good example. And then you got like Breaking Bad, right? A perfect example of a network television show or a cable television show rather, that did not get run into the ground. Vince Gilligan knew when to quit, knew when to call it quits on a high note when the show was still good. I believe it was 5 seasons. Perfect time to end it. Yeah. And then you got shows like The Sopranos. Let me see. How many seasons was that? I feel like it was 7. Let me see. 6. Okay, 6. I would have thought it was more. And The Sopranos, I could see how it would overstay its welcome, but to me, that is my all-time favorite TV show, by the way. To me, it never got dull. It never got repetitive. It never overstayed its welcome. I think it was just the perfect show that got to 6 seasons and was able to keep it fresh, you know? The Walking Dead, Makatsi? Yeah, is that I long ago stopped watching that show. I mean, talk about running something into the ground. I mean, good God. I don't know. But Moth, I'm trying to think of some other, like, movie examples. Even like Star Wars, right? Are the prequels necessary? No, not really. Are the sequels necessary? No, not really. The Clone Wars necessary? No. I mean, the original trilogy is a complete, concise, beginning to ending package. Everything else is just kind of dessert, right? Stuff that we never expected we would ever get, but we got it. So sometimes stories can continue even when not really necessary. But you just assume this Star Wars galaxy is forever going to be molded and shaped, even in the EU, you know what I mean? All that kind of stuff over there. Going to be molded and shaped. There's always going to be stories to tell. And in that way, it's a little different than a linear narrative, you know? Because there's a lot they can do, because it's a living, breathing universe that they can just kind of right at their wills and wishes. Does that make sense? I don't know. But yeah, I hope I answered your question. Yeah, like I said, for me, for the most part, TV shows come to mind when I first think of like overstaying their welcome and stuff like that. Yeah, I can't really think of very many movies or. Well, I guess a lot of things are getting remakes and sequels nowadays that I don't feel are necessary. I don't know. I'm trying to think. Like, isn't there a Big Lebowski sequel coming? Okay. The first one was like such a cult classic. What happens? What normally happens when you have these cult classic movies get sequels? Like, even like Dumb and Dumber. They made a Dumb and Dumber sequel. Not the one with other people. I can't remember who was in it. But like, they made a Dumb and Dumber sequel. Why? Does anybody remember it? No. It's like whenever they make sequels to these kind of like lesser known. I guess Dumb and Dumber is not lesser known, but you know what I mean. Kind of these cult classics. The sequels always just end up being forgotten. Just being lesser than. Just being filler. I don't know. I still haven't seen Zoolander 2. Yeah, is that kind of same thing? Anchorman 2. Things that don't really need a sequel. You go, why? You had such a good thing. Why? Alright, guys, I gotta get going. My throat is on fire and I need some water. But I appreciate everybody tuning in tonight, man. We got 3 new fleet members. I greatly appreciate that, guys. John H., Dementium, and Mothmeta Christopher. Thank you so much for joining the fleet tonight, guys. I appreciate the hell out of that. And I might start doing these supporter Q&As during the day a couple times a month as well. Now that my daughter's napping, I might just, pop on here twice a month during the day for random ass Battlefront streams for supporters, and then the normal supporter Q&A, but we'll see. Alright, guys. The Muddler and Equinox Warrior, thank you so much for the super chats tonight. I greatly appreciate that. All the support tonight means the world. And everybody that's watching right now that does not support the channel, thank you for tuning in. And just giving this silly shit a watch. I appreciate the hell out of it. But shout out to everyone who farted on their Valentine's Day date. There you go, DJ Kento. I appreciate it, John. Alright, guys. As always, have fun, kick some ass. And I'll see you next time. Next time will be tomorrow night if you want to watch another stream. So, alright, guys. Enjoy the tune. I'll catch you later. See ya.